Okay, so we're still in Moto, but give me a second here. Start Photoshop up. Old school. I'm gonna play some songs we already listened to. Okay, so when I got into games, the average texture size was a 512. And there was no roughness, and there was no metalness. It was just specular, or specular color, rather. Let's see if I can find something to. Specular color for metals, yeah. Oh yeah, this is gonna get gnarly. So the other thing that we didn't do is in our albedos, you would have a lot more lighting information. 404. Okay, so let's take this image. So say my lead would be like, okay, we need a brick wall. We need a brick wall texture. Make it tileable. So what you do is like, oh man, this is such a bad image. Anyways, look at the lighting and stuff, right? There's all that lighting in there. There was all types of stuff you could do. So this might not be a good image for, let me see if I can find a better. Oh yeah, this one's, dude, this one's so bad. Okay, so yeah, you'd put your AO and your albedo, and you would put your lighting information in it. Is totally fine. We were doing lots of things where it's like, how do we sharpen this image, right? So it's like, okay, let's start by duplicating the layer, and then let's do like a sharpen or other high pass. So high pass allows you to get this look. And if you tighten it up quite a bit, you can get just those little micro information. And then you could like constantly dig through these filters and just find one that works. So you can see like overlay. See how it sharpens this brings you back. So we used to sharpen the textures this way. So then let's copy this. You're like, okay, how do we make this tile? Well, you've got this texture. This is so bad. We're gonna go super high res, guys. 1024. Let's see where it fits. Okay, so what I'd normally do is let's get an eraser here. Let's just erase that bottom edge so we can kind of clean up that bottom edge there. So we're just trying to get rid of some of the problem cases we're gonna have in a little bit here. So let's go ahead and put this up here, right? We're gonna duplicate it and then bring it down here. And you're like, oh man, where these bricks line up looks like crap, so we're gonna have to offset it, right? Oh god. And then I'm just gonna do it again here. So I'm just gonna overlap these roughly. So if I lower the opacity, you can see how much they're overlapping. Maybe we overlap a little bit more. What I'm looking for is like where they match the closest with the color of the brick behind them. The more overlap you have, the more like room you're gonna have to delete things. And then probably shouldn't be moving that up and down. This is actually gold. So I put a mask on, right? Let's see here. What is going on? What is this brush? Hang on here. What? What is this brush? There we go. We're gonna just soften this up. Okay, so basically we would zoom in and just kind of like do this. And like for me, as I would go through this process, you're just trying to kill the seam, right? So like while this process is going on, if I see something like this little white line here, let's see, that's on this one. So I press S to go into the clone stamp, and then Alt click somewhere, paint over that just to kind of like kill those pixels, get the breakup going on. Go back, see if it looks weird. If it doesn't look weird, just keep going. So we're on the hunt for seams. So let's just keep going here. That's a happy accident. I got a little piece there. Oh. The other thing you could do is if you lower your opacity, you could do it in passes, so it's a little bit less destructive. Man, this is super old school. Okay, so that's technically seamless. So let's see what else we got here. Look at the amount of removing that happened. So back when we were making textures like this, it was full on destructive. Like layers were named poorly, and like I just merged those together because whatever. I'm just gonna delete this one, and I'm gonna just bring this down here. And we'll offset this so it doesn't look weird. And then like you can see there's a little bit of a seam up there. And there's a lot of brick showing down here. So I think what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna group them together. I'm gonna scale this so that the seam on the bottom is kind of gone, and the seam on the top is kind of gone. And then you'll see that there's texture on the outside edge, outside of the 0 to 1 space, So if you tile it in a way where like, if you try and offset it, it's going to offset poorly. So what you actually have to do is copy this and then paste it and then go and offset it. So let's kill this, make the background. One trick I knew was like if you eyedrop a color here. Oh man, thanks for the bits, dude. Let's just throw this color in here. So this is just so there's something in the back, just in case there's like space like between these. You can see there. Okay, whoop. So we got this. So now what we would do is we would do a, you guys were saying it earlier, so you go to other and you go to offset. So if this is a 1024, if you offset by 512 and 512, you will have your seam where the bricks don't meet. And there's another seam somewhere in here. There it is. This edge here, which is it's pretty subtle. Jurassic game techniques. Yeah, we're people in the Discord were asking about how we used to make textures like back in the day, before PBR and smart materials and all that. So we've got that seam and we've got another seam. So what I usually would do is duplicate that again and then press Control F to run the Oh, what is that? Why? Is it not Control F anymore? Alt Control F. Alt Control F to run the offset again. Put a mask, invert the mask, and then bring back the mask where I don't... Oh yeah, this is gonna get freaking weird. Let's oh. I need to actually offset it horizontally only. Hang on here. Okay. What? Oh my god. Okay, so I got the seam there. I'm just gonna dupe it and then offset like this. Dude, look at all the duplicating. Okay, mask. Invert mask. I'm gonna go in and just start removing. So this process right here is pretty freaking tedious. To this day, I'm not really a fan of the whole idea that we were doing this. It's usually better too if you're using a larger brush, because then you're affecting a larger area. Because you'll see the seam in the lack of change that's happening in the... So what's really interesting is if you look at the what's going on with the new mixer. Oh yeah, I have to avoid the top edge. Avoid that top edge. You got to be careful. The mixer is working a lot like this. So you'll see I'll hold control and just tap every once in a while and wiggle it around just to see where things are at. Like when you see a brick that's too long, you need to go and find like a seam for it to break on. Oh man, this is so archaic. Brings back some awesome memories though. I mean, it's kind of good knowledge to have just in case like you need some type of fallback for some reason. But like technically, now that tiles, there's some weird stuff going on down here though. You see this? So I think we need to bring this back. The seam is right there. And then see we're getting some cloning happening here, so you need to make sure that those are gone. So just to give you an idea, look at that. Why is your Wacom sensitivity flipping out all the time? I'm not sure. That sounds super annoying. What is it flipping out on, Pontus? Okay, so we've got this working, right? So I'm going to grab that, paste it, and then we're going to offset it again. 512. It technically tiles. God, that's a gross texture. There's too many bricks in it. But what I would do after this is actually bring it into like a... I usually bring it into the engine and just check there. But like if that was going to be too slow or you were in a hurry, you just didn't bring it into the engine and you just did it like this. So then you do like some pattern squint testing. You see how there's like this tiling here? That's the seam stuff. Ugh, gross. It's not Windows 10. I mean, I have Windows 10. Try redoing your drivers or updating your drivers. Proper 4K. So that's basically how we did textures in like the old school way. If you needed to like get rid of some of this noise, you would just sample. You were just healing like everywhere. Painting down your own colors was usually dangerous because you were just going to start sticking, the details were just going to start sticking out. Like what you were doing was damaging the overall texture. The other thing to know, like, so if you see, if I sample, let's say I sample here, and then I'm doing this, if I go over here and then do this, you can see that where it's sampling from is following me at the same distance between, I can't point on the screen, but between where the brush is and where the sample is always the same distance. So what you could do to change that is if you turn off aligned, you can have it'll always start where you sampled from. So if you need to make sure that you grab like this area, you're like, all right, I just need to use that color everywhere that I'm sampling from. You're like, this whole area is kind of safe, so I have enough room to like do some cleanup. Just make sure that align is off, and then it'll keep going back. Dude, this it feels dirty doing it like this. So, old school texturing tiling process using a photo that I found online. You're like, well, what if you need to change the color of the bricks? Then you need to find a different brick. You could go like black and white, but I wouldn't suggest that. You could like, you could desaturate it a bit. Lowering the, you know, we do this a lot with our current albedos. Just like maybe it's too bright. You didn't do that in the old school way. You wanted the most contrast. You wanted full range in your texture. And it was the hot shit or next gen if it was desaturated, right? How do you create the specular? That is a freaking great question. Oh, that is such a good question. Okay, we got 11 minutes. Yeah, we got 11 minutes. Let's do this. So what I would do is actually group these. Oops. Call this diffuse, not albedo, diffuse. I'm going to paste this on top. We'll go black and white. So you could do stuff like this, where it's like now you're singling out the edges. Then we need to go in here and then maybe like, I don't even know if we can do this, but so you could sample a color, non-contiguous. Do that. See, and then you can take this, put your base color in the back, lower the opacity of this. Oh man, this is this is gross. So you could do a bunch of like selecting out of areas. So like, see this area here, we need that information. So like you could use let's see here. Grab that. You bring that in, bring the edge highlights in. Man, this was difficult stuff. It's still like alien to me. The other thing too is in your specular, sometimes it would be intentional to use the specular to do like an edge highlight on top. The edge highlight on top of the bricks, so that when the light hits it just right, the tops of the bricks would highlight. And that was because like normal maps weren't really doing it for you. We're all using X normal. How's the progress on the temple scene? Let's see. I'll show you. So I'm starting to do, right now we've been working on this tree. Man, this looks all jacked up right now because the lighting's not baked and stuff. But yeah, I got these faces done. Working on laying out the vines, and now I'm working on tileable vines. Like if I hide this one and turn this one on, you can see the quadrants for the vines I'm working on. So I'm just making all these tiling pieces that I can map along all of the surfaces of this, just so we can get the micro complexity. It's getting there. It's fun, man. Lighting's all jacked up right now because I canceled it. And I'm going to scale these down so that they all fit into the scene with a better texel density. It's getting there. It's getting there. It's fun. Earvan, what's up, man? How you doing? That's right, I called you Earvan. I like it. All right, I'm gonna save that. So yeah, this is, dude, this is such a nasty process. And you're like, oh, but the bricks, they have like this color to them. So like there'd be color in the brick. Yeah, I'm gonna put planes and stuff all over the face pieces and whatnot. Like, let me see if I can find tree block out. Is this the right? Yeah. So like you can see these ones down here. Say those are mapped, but like what I was saying earlier is if you need let's do this. So like this area, for example, maybe I don't merge these, right? But yeah, it's a block out version, block out final, like version 3 final. You could do a combination of like so if I select these and then duplicate it, let's give it a different color so it's easier to see, or not. That's cool. That's cool. Is it be? Oh, it's because it doesn't have a. So then you can use like where are we at here? Push. Where you at? Push. Deform. Push. So you can push these out a little bit. And then you UV these, and you can map the vines to that. If you need to, you can do this. Invert that selection, delete. Then you can turn on the mesh conform to the background. So you can see, oh geez, as you can see, it's not working. I might have to do actually, if I go into the topo tool, it's much easier to read what's going on. But I could use a topo pen. We could do stuff like this. So then I can take that and then map the vines along that. So then I can UV the vines along that surface, and then remember, if it's tiling, I mean, you can do some pretty cool stuff with that. The other thing you can do too is, if you need to, you can smooth this geometry, so it smooths, but it still conforms, which is kind of cool. Looks like this area is not conforming though. Yeah, there we go. What is this? Oh my god, what? I did not know that existed. My god, that's awesome. So if you use the topo pen, hold down shift, you know, you can drag verts out based on, or edges. If you hold down shift and right click, you can drag out. Man, this though, hold down right click and there's this sphere thing, that volume thing that comes up, and when you move stuff, you can have it like, oh, that's sick. It's like soft selecting. It auto welds too, if you see. And then I just need to wiggle this around a little bit just to make sure everything's snapping. Man, that's cool. I did not know about that. Mind blown. Dude, that's freaking amazing. Anywho, yeah, if you need to, you can use that. Pontus, did you see that? Dude, that's the first time I'm like, what the hell? So, okay, so I'm in the topology tool, right? If you have the topo pen, topology pen up, just hold down your right click outside of the geometry and you can change the size of this. So if you need it pretty small, then it's just a single vert, right? And I think by default it's pretty small. But if you scale that up, man, you can. Why didn't I know about that? That's amazing. My mind is blown. Pontus's mind's blown. Pontus has been using Moto longer than me. Pontus is pretty badass. He makes some cool stuff. Great coworker. Good guy all around. All right. Moto. Why? It is 10 o'clock, guys, or it is 9:59. But I'm going to get out of here. It is so good to be back in streaming. I look forward to, you know, streaming more. I'll see you guys on Monday. I did 2 portfolio reviews and Discord critiques on Monday off stream. So if you need to, you can check those out. They are on YouTube. But thanks for hanging out. And yeah, I'll post that looking back at bad texturing as its own video, just so you guys can cry and be happy that there's smart materials now. Is it Ari Kilby? Or Ricoby? Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for hanging out the stream. Showing us the old ways. The ways of the last empire. Alright, guys. I'm going to get out of here. You guys have been awesome. I need to queue things and stuff. I'm going to look at those vines later, too. Figure out what the hell's going on. Where you at, Obs? Blow! Fireworks. Nusty works. That sounds terrible. Alright. Alright. That's my cue. I should probably stop talking. Goodbye.